Title: The Mirror of Reflections, A Haunting Legacy. I never believed in the supernatural until my family inherited the old mansion on the outskirts of town. The place was a frightening setting straight out of a horror movie, with its crumbling walls and eerie silence that seemed to seep into your bones. The mirror in the foyer was the first thing that caught my attention. It was an ornate piece, with intricate carvings and a sense of foreboding that sent shivers down my spine. As I stood in front of it, I could see my reflection staring back at me, but there was something off about it. It was as if the mirror was showing me more than just my own image. I brushed off my unease and tried to focus on the task at hand, unraveling the mystery of this strange inheritance. My family had always been fascinated by folklore and the supernatural, so it came as no surprise when we discovered that the mirror had a dark past. According to the local legend, the mirror was known as the Mirror of Reflections, a cursed object that could reveal not only the reflections of the living but also the ghosts of the past. It was said to be a gateway to a malevolent dimension, where the spirits of the dead roamed freely. As I delved deeper into the mansion's history, I realized that we had stumbled upon something far more sinister than we had ever imagined. The mirror was not just a piece of fiction, it was a real entity that held a terrifying secret. And as I looked into its depths, I could feel the presence of something dark and malevolent watching me. But despite the warnings and the growing sense of unease, I made a dreadful decision to unlock the mirror's secrets and unleash the horror that lay within. Little did I know that my curiosity would come at a price, one that would haunt me for the rest of my days. As I continued to investigate the mirror and its mysterious powers, strange things began to happen in the mansion. Shadows moved on their own, whispers echoed through the halls, and cold drafts seemed to follow me wherever I went. It was as if the mirror had awoken something dark and malevolent within the walls of the old house. Despite the growing sense of fear that gripped me, I couldn't tear myself away from the mirror. It held a strange allure, a pull that drew me in and compelled me to keep looking into its depths. And with each passing day, I began to see more than just my own reflection staring back at me. The ghosts of the past started to appear in the mirror, spectral figures that seemed to be trapped in a never-ending loop of suffering and despair. Their eyes held a haunted look, as if they were pleading for release from their torment. But as much as I wanted to help them, I knew deep down that the mirror was a conduit to a realm of darkness that I couldn't possibly understand. One night, as I stood before the mirror, a figure stepped out of its depths. It was a twisted, grotesque being with sunken eyes and a malevolent grin that sent a shiver down my spine. I tried to look away, to break free from its gaze, but I was rooted to the spot by a sense of dread that paralyzed me. The figure reached out a ghostly hand towards me, and I could feel its icy touch on my skin. In that moment, I knew that I had made a terrible mistake in unlocking the mirror's secrets. I had unleashed a villainous force that would stop at nothing to claim me as its own. As the figure drew closer, I closed my eyes and whispered a prayer for salvation. But when I opened them again, I was no longer in the mansion. I was standing in a dark, twisted version of reality, surrounded by the spirits of the dead who hungered for my soul. I stood frozen in fear, surrounded by the twisted spirits that roamed the dark, malevolent dimension that I had unwittingly entered. The air was thick with palpable dread, and I could feel their eyes boring into my soul, hungry for the life that pulsed within me. As the spirits closed in on me, their eerie cries filled the air, sending a chill down my spine. I tried to scream, to run, but my body refused to move as if held in place by an unseen force. Panic consumed me as I realized the gravity of my dreadful decision to unlock the mirror's secrets. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, a voice whispered in the darkness, cutting through the cacophony of wailing spirits. It was a familiar voice, that of my great-grandmother, whose portrait hung in the mansion's grand hall. She had warned me of the mirror's malevolence, but I had not heeded her words until it was too late. With a surge of newfound courage, I called out to her, pleading for guidance and protection. And as if in response, a light appeared in the darkness, illuminating a path through the twisted maze of spirits. With a leap of faith, I followed the light, praying that it would lead me back to the safety of the mansion. As I ran, the spirits grew more frenzied, their wails growing louder and more desperate. I could feel their cold breath on my neck, their ghostly hands reaching out to grab me. But I pressed on, fueled by the hope that my great-grandmother's spirit would guide me to safety. Just as the darkness threatened to consume me, I emerged back into the mansion, the mirror's ominous presence looming before me. I stumbled back, grateful to be back in familiar surroundings, but I knew that the spirits of the malevolent dimension still lingered, waiting for an opportunity to strike. I knew then that I had to find a way to seal the mirror's portal, to prevent the malevolent forces from escaping and wreaking havoc on the world. With a heavy heart and a resolve born of survival, I set out to uncover the mirror's origins and the key to banishing the darkness that threatened to consume us all. Armed with newfound determination, I delved into the history of the mirror, uncovering ancient texts and scrolls that spoke of its dark origins. It was said that the mirror was crafted by a sorcerer long ago, imbued with malevolent energy that fed on the souls of the living to sustain its power. As I studied the texts, I came to understand the true nature of the mirror and the forces that had been unleashed upon the world. It was not simply a conduit to a malevolent dimension but a gateway to a realm of unspeakable horror, where the spirits of the dead dwelled in eternal torment. I knew then that I had to find a way to seal the mirror's portal and banish the malevolent forces once and for all. With the help of my great-grandmother's spirit, I embarked on a quest to uncover the key to unlocking the mirror's true power, a power that could push back the darkness and restore balance to the world. As I journeyed through hidden chambers and forgotten tombs, I encountered numerous trials and tribulations that tested my resolve and faith. But with each challenge overcome, I grew stronger in my conviction that I could succeed in vanquishing the mirror's malevolent influence. Finally, after a grueling journey, I stood before the mirror once more, armed with the knowledge and power needed to seal its portal. The spirits of the malevolent dimension howled in rage, sensing that their time was at an end. And as I channeled my energy into the mirror, a blinding light erupted from its depths, engulfing the room in a brilliant display of power. With a final incantation, I sealed the mirror's portal, trapping the malevolent forces within and severing their connection to the mortal world. As the light faded, a profound sense of peace washed over me, knowing that I had fulfilled my destiny and saved countless lives from the darkness that had threatened to consume them. And as I gazed into the mirror one last time, I saw not my own reflection staring back at me but that of my great-grandmother, her eyes filled with pride and gratitude. I knew then that her spirit would watch over me always, guiding me on the right path and protecting me from harm. The mirror's dark legacy had been laid to rest, its malevolent influence banished for eternity. And as I turned away, ready to embrace the future and all its possibilities, I knew that my journey was far from over, but that I would face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and determination, knowing that I had triumphed over the darkness and emerged stronger for it.